Today we are going to discuss a new topic called reciprocal space. Before going to the discussion on reciprocal space, we will know why reciprocal space came into the picture of X-ray diffraction. So this is a schematic of X-ray diffraction where you have a crystal or solid. These are the atoms or ions um, or molecule of the solid which constitute the lattice of the solid or crystal of the solid. Then we have a crystallographic plane, like this is one plane, this is another plane, this is another plane. Now X-ray will come from a source and falls on the crystal plane and it is diffracted or reflected, and this is our angle of incidence and angle of reflection or diffraction. Now from this experiment we have find out the X-ray diffraction pattern. So previously we have seen that a crystalline solid gives a sharp peak and your amorphous solid give broad peak. Now this each peak corresponds to a plane, okay, a crystal plane. So we index or we number the plane using the HKL value. These are HKL plane. So this peak is corresponding to 001 plane. This peak was corresponding to 111 plane. That means H is 1, K is 1 and L is 1 for this diffraction plane. Similarly, we can index all the crystal planes, and we notice that when we going from low index plane to high index plane. Low index plane means the HKL value is low, like 111, 222, 333. These are called low index plane. Then high index plane will be HKL are very high, 555, 777, like this. So high index planes we noticed in the X-ray pattern of solid that high index planes are absent. So why this high index plane are absent although the low index plane are present? This deviation or this phenomena can be explained using a concept called reciprocal space. And reciprocal space, you know that reciprocal means inverse. 1 by something is called reciprocal of something. Okay, so this is basically a mathematical construction. It does not have any physical intuition, so it is only a mathematical transformation or mathematical formulation. So in real space, if we called a one-dimensional case, then our dimension will be length. If we measure length in the real space, then in the reciprocal space that will be length inverse. Okay, so 1 by dimension will be the unit of your reciprocal space. So reciprocal space basically a inverse thing of your real space. That means this is 1 by real space. Now how reciprocal space makes sense in X-ray diffraction? Because we have discussed that reciprocal space is needed to understand the absence of high index planes in the X-ray diffraction pattern. But why? What is the actual scenario? Why we use or introduce such type of reciprocal space concept? We'll see in a minute. In X-ray diffraction, we measure angle versus intensity. If we go to the diffraction pattern, then what you have noticed, this is your X-ray diffraction pattern, and here is 2 theta and intensity. So basically we measured the intensity versus theta. So uh, how could you correlate these two things using in a specific measurement? So that can be done by considering well-known Bragg's equation. Bragg's equation, n lambda equal to 2d sin theta. D is the d spacing between the planes, or d spacing or distance from the origin, like this. So now we are considering that n, the order of reflection, is 1. So what will happen? This now in this case we are writing the DHKL, that means HKL plane, D of any HKL plane. So 2D HKL sin theta equal to lambda. Lambda is what? Lambda is the wavelength of the X-ray which is incidented on the crystal. So 1 by 2D HKL will be your sin theta by lambda. Okay, sin theta by lambda. Now lambda is constant for a given experiment. This is constant. This is constant means your, so we can write this as a 1 by 2d HKL is equal to constant, 1 by constant into sin theta. So that is 1 by d HKL will be proportional to sin theta. So now the length is not directly related to your, d is what? D is the distance. D is nothing, it is a length. So length, 1 by length, is proportional to sin theta. So the relationship between angle and theta, angle and distance, is basically in reciprocal relationship. That's why we introduce reciprocal space, because it is easy to understand the direct relationship than the inverse relationship. But we do not have any direct relationship with the within theta and your d. So we make these in the inverse form, so that it will form a direct relationship with the theta. That's why this is called 1 by d term, which is basically a representation in the reciprocal space. Reciprocal space introduced in 1992 by Ewald. Okay, so in real space, we have seen that lattice points, mirror indices, and all the things where the length of the cell, that is A, B, C, all are in the real space, and the unit of this vector, that means if I have a solid, that is my unit cell, and this unit cell shows that I have a value here, B value here, and C value in this direction. So A, B, C value is basically indicated by the vector quantity. So this, in the real space, actual crystal has the real vector L, which has the dimension L, that is, these are one dimensional things, na? Now the reciprocal. Now in real space we have real vector, that is the vector presentation along x-axis, y-axis, and z-axis. These all are individually one dimensional. So the dimension is L, length, dimension of length. But in case of reciprocal vector, the dimension will be inverse, so that will be L inverse. So we will have to understand reciprocal vector in order to construct a reciprocal space. In the next class we will discuss about how to construct a lattice reciprocal lattice vector from a real vector. We will see in the coming classes.